You like Feastables?
No.
Do yourself. Kidding.
You don't like Feastables?
Wait. You don't like any flavor?
Well, I only tried 2.
1 million bars sold in 72 hours. $10 million in revenue in the first few months. The hype train for MrBeast's chocolate company, Feastables, made Willy Wonka look like he was running a small-town lemonade stand. But almost as quickly as it appeared, the shiny wrappers started coming off. The sugar rush faded, and the same internet that lined up to buy the chocolate started roasting it faster than a s'more. How did the guy who gives away private islands and fleets of jets manage to bungle a chocolate bar? It's a genuine head-scratcher. So, grab a snack, preferably not the one we're talking about, because this is the satisfying downfall of Feastables. MrBeast's brand is built on an absurd, physics-defying scale. He doesn't just do things, he does them big, recreating Squid Game, building multi-million-dollar sets, or giving away houses. So when he announced a chocolate company in January 2022, nobody pictured a quaint little side hustle. This was MrBeast. He doesn't do small. He promised a modern-day Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, complete with golden ticket giveaways and the chance to win a literal chocolate factory. Crucially, he claimed his bars tasted objectively better than the classics we all grew up with. His army of subscribers snapped into action with a digital fervor only MrBeast can command. It was less a product launch and more a cultural event. Grocery stores, caught completely off guard, sold out instantly. Resellers flipped $3 bars for $50 on eBay. For a moment, it looked like another Midas touch win for Jimmy Donaldson. But the bigger the moonshot, the more spectacular the inevitable crash. Here's where the sugary coating began to crack. Creating a viral video is one thing. Distributing a perishable food product on a global scale is another beast entirely. Feastables sourced its cocoa from Peru, leaning into an ethical premium narrative. But that cocoa then had to travel to various co-packers across the US and abroad, creating a complex and fragile supply chain from the start. This global hopscotch only worked during the initial hype window. Soon, the cracks began to show. Tariffs ate into thin margins, container shortages caused crippling delays, and a strong US dollar made international sourcing even more expensive. The delicate math of turning cocoa beans into profitable chocolate bars turned sour with alarming speed. A former operations manager told Food Dive that the team spent more time tracking freight containers and navigating customs paperwork than they did tweaking recipes. Imagine a food company where the primary focus isn't the food, but the effort of just getting it from point A to point B. That's a recipe for disaster. Retailers who screamed for more pallets in the spring were stuck with mountains of expired inventory by the fall. Fans who found a second bar often discovered it was chalky, discolored, or bloomed. That unappetizing film from cocoa butter separating in the sweltering trucks and warehouses it sat in for weeks. Nothing kills buzz faster than a missing or melted product. For all the hype, a chocolate bar has to deliver on taste. Early on, MrBeast conducted his own blind taste tests, pitting his bar against titans like Hershey's and shouting, "It's not even close! Mine is so much better." His loyal fans believed him. Why wouldn't they? But then, the internet started its own independent research. Unaffiliated creators ran the same tests, and the results were a lot different than his own. Consensus formed. Common tasting notes appeared again and again. Overly sweet, gritty texture, and the most damning critique of all, tastes like a protein bar. One viral TikTok clocked 6 million views with a devastating one-word caption, mid. For those not fluent in Gen Z, mid is short for mediocre. It's the kiss of death for a brand claiming superiority. Once the public consensus shifted from "I gotta try it" to "Yeah, I tried it" once, the brand lost the one thing it needed to survive: repeat purchases. Sustainable brands live and die on the second, third, and 10th buy. Feastables, for all its monumental launch, simply couldn't clear that crucial hurdle. The novelty wore off, and the taste just wasn't there. Let's be honest about Feastables' core demographic. a massive audience of 8 to 16-year-olds. This group is powerful for generating hype, but it also comes with intense regulatory oversight. And that's where Feastables stumbled. The Children's Advertising Review Unit, a division of the Better Business Bureau, flagged the high-profile launch sweepstakes. Their findings were deeply concerning, citing unclear disclosure and misleading odds. The translation? Kids genuinely believed they had a real shot at winning a Willy Wonka-style chocolate factory tour. In reality, the odds were astronomically small. For a child, the distinction between a slim chance and a virtually impossible one is lost. Koru's report was a serious reprimand that forced the company to issue corrective tweets and add disclaimers to its videos. Nothing evaporates a brand's cool factor faster than a federal watchdog calling your biggest promotion potentially unfair to minors. This had real-world consequences. Parents, who are the ultimate gatekeepers, began to view the brand with suspicion. The magic of the golden ticket turned into the bitterness of a broken promise. If you follow MrBeast, you know the Beastburger saga. It was another ambitious food venture, this time using ghost kitchens for delivery-only service. This model allows for cheap scaling, but quality control can be a nightmare. The venture became embroiled in messy public lawsuits between MrBeast and his partner, Virtual Dining Concepts. Court filings painted a grim picture of unacceptable standards and severe brand damage from inedible food and catastrophic operational issues. It was a full-blown PR nightmare. While Feastables was a legally separate company, the average shopper doesn't care. They see one name, MrBeast. When that name is associated with public battles over unacceptable food standards, it creates a massive red flag that bleeds over onto everything else he touches. At the peak of the Beastburger chaos in summer 2023, Spin's retail data showed that Feastables' sales dipped by a significant 18% week over week. This was no coincidence. The negativity surrounding Beastburger, the questions about quality control and corporate responsibility, cast a long, dark shadow over Feastables. At launch, Feastables retailed for around $2.99 per bar, a premium but still in the impulse buy zone. It felt like an affordable taste of the MrBeast magic. However, as 2023 wore on, supply chain inflation and logistical headaches nudged that price upwards. The bar crept from $2.99 to $3.49. Then to an eye-watering $3.99 in some stores. Asking consumers to pay $4 for 2.1 ounces of chocolate was commercial suicide. The internet lit up. Reddit threads became a hotbed of criticism, with comments like, "Why would I pay double for a smaller bar just to help a millionaire flex on his YouTube channel?" The value proposition had evaporated. Consumers could buy a larger, tastier bar for less, or a truly premium artisanal bar for a comparable price. Grocery buyers confirmed this story. They watched as sales velocity plummeted the moment the price jumped past the $3 psychological line. The direct consequence, its shelf space, that precious real estate, started shrinking. If your product goes from 4 rows to a lonely single row, you're on life support. MrBeast's audience loves spectacle, but even the most devoted fans have their limits. A constant barrage of product pictures, no matter who they're from, eventually feels disingenuous. In 2023, the main channel shoehorned Feastables into at least 7 videos, with concepts like "lick the chocolate fence to win 10 grand." While views were high, a shift occurred in the comments. Enthusiasm gave way to a chorus of "enough with the candy ads" and "this feels really forced." The magic was fading, replaced by a sense of commercial obligation. YouTube's own algorithm also played a role. After a late 2023 policy update, the platform began to subtly throttle brand-heavy videos, pushing down content that felt overtly promotional. As a result, views on the most Feastables-centric videos dipped. This broke the symbiotic loop that had fueled the brand's success. Video content drives bar sales, and bar sales fund extravagant content. A brand built on influencer oxygen began to suffocate once its own fans and the platform's algorithms started to mute the pitch. The chocolate aisle is a ruthless battleground. Feastables entered with hype as its primary weapon, but hype fades quickly under grocery store lights. While Feastables struggled with taste and logistics, its competitors thrived. Hershey's launched a mega version of its popular cookies and cream bar. Tony's Chocolonely continued to win with its eye-popping branding and powerful ethical mission to fight slavery in the cocoa industry. Newer entrants like Hey Tiger landed in Target with sleek packaging and sophisticated flavors. Each competitor had a durable advantage. Hershey's had taste heritage and nostalgia. Tony's had a powerful social mission. Hey Tiger had genuine innovation. Feastables had hype. When a consumer stands in front of a shelf, the combination of nostalgia, consistent flavor, or a compelling story will almost always beat fleeting YouTube clout. Sales data from Nielsen showed that nearly every point of market share Feastables lost went straight to these competitors. Retailers, ever the pragmatists, quickly replaced the slow-moving Feastables with products that turn over weekly, not monthly. In late 2022, social media buzzed with photos of white specks on Feastables bars. It was fat bloom, a harmless process where cocoa butter separates due to temperature changes. But in the food world, perception is reality, and the perception was that something was wrong. Instead of a proactive, transparent response, Feastables replied with a single terse tweet. "It's just cocoa butter migration, still safe to eat." A single tweet. No video from MrBeast, no detailed reassurance. It was a dismissive response that failed to address customer anxiety. Meanwhile, photos of moldy chocolate spread like wildfire. Concerned parents didn't research the science of fat bloom. They just tossed the bars in the trash and made a mental note not to buy them again. A swift, empathetic response is paramount for any food brand. This was a massive, unforced error in crisis management that only accelerated the brand's decline. With sales plummeting, the internal pressure mounted. The natural response? Aggressive cost-cutting. According to a leaked slide from an all-hands meeting, leadership slashed marketing spend by a whopping 40%. A fatal blow for a brand that relied on constant promotion. The Crunch variety was discontinued within 9 months of launch. But the most damaging cut came from the ingredients. Suppliers were reportedly told to find cheaper cacao substitutes. This wasn't a minor tweak, it was a fundamental shift in the product's identity. The very ingredient that defined the chocolate was being systematically downgraded. A former food scientist posted anonymously on the forum Food Scribe, "We reformulated 3 times in a single year. By the end, the only thing that remained unchanged was the wrapper." This constant tinkering, driven by a desperate search for cost savings, creates jarring inconsistency and signals to consumers that the company prioritizes profits over quality. The cost-cutting measures intended to save the brand ultimately stripped away its very essence. If you want a real-time pulse check on Feastables' public standing, just scroll through the comments on any of their social media posts. It's a brutal, unfiltered reflection of consumer sentiment. You'll find a steady stream of comments like, "Tastes like disappointment and hype," "My kid cried when he didn't win anything," and the damning verdict, "Bring back real chocolate." This is a full-blown consumer revolt. It's a downward spiraling feedback loop. Negative comments ding the algorithm, which suppresses reach, which slashes sales. This prompts more desperate discounting, which further cheapens the brand and reinforces the public perception of a failing product. The comments section has become a digital graveyard of unmet expectations. A testament to how quickly an internet phenomenon can curdle into a cautionary tale. By spring 2024, the writing on the wall became unavoidable reality. Major retailers began to quietly delist Feastables. Whole Foods dropped it nationwide. Target trimmed its SKUs from 4 varieties down to a solitary one. Walmart relegated the bar to only its largest supercenters. When your product is no longer ubiquitous, the influencer momentum evaporates. Fans can't buy what they can't find. The industry newsletter Shelf Snap reported a staggering statistic. Feastables ACV, a measure of how widely available a product is, had dropped a shocking 62% year over year. This isn't a minor setback, it's a full-blown freefall into retail oblivion. The shelf exit is the ultimate death knell for a CPG brand. It signifies a complete loss of confidence from retailers. Once you lose that precious shelf space, regaining it is an epic uphill battle. He said, "We're retooling the recipe, the supply chain, everything. We're not going anywhere." On the surface, it sounds like a classic fighting spirit, but listen closely. He didn't say, "We're retooling the chocolate bar." He used the broader word brand. This subtle choice hints at a strategic expansion beyond the original chocolate, perhaps into gummies or other snacks that are less complex to produce. It's a classic CPG pivot. If your flagship product is failing, you leverage whatever brand equity is left into new categories. The unspoken implication is clear. The chocolate bar that started it all might just be toast. When the founder stops defending the original product and starts talking about the overall brand, you know the writing's on the wrapper. The story of Feastables is a perfect microcosm of the influencer economy. It proves virality can open doors with explosive force, but it can't keep shelves stocked, taste buds happy, or regulators satisfied. The downfall boiled down to 3 lethal gaps: operational naivety, product mediocrity, and a dangerous over-reliance on fandom without any substance to back it up. MrBeast will keep dropping videos and racking up billions of views. His personal brand remains an unparalleled force. But his chocolate empire is melting faster than a Kit Kat left in a hot car. The satisfying part of this story is watching pure hype collide with brutal real-world reality. It serves as a potent reminder to every creator. Attention is rented, trust is earned, and a product cannot subsist on giveaways and a famous name alone. In the end, it has to deliver.
I know you're not following what I'm saying anyway, right? That's okay, that doesn't matter. The real question is this: is all this legal? Absolutely fucking